At 9:03 a.m., the towering halls of Anderson and Company fell unnaturally quiet. Ethan Miller stared at his screen, blood draining from his face, as the message he meant to send privately, 3 unmistakably intimate words, "I miss you," landed in the inbox of the last person on earth it should have, CO Claire Anderson. Before he could delete it, her office door opened. Every keyboard stopped. Every breath held. She walked straight toward him, her steps crisp, controlled, carrying the weight of a woman who had fired people over smaller mistakes. She stopped at his desk, leaned close enough for him to feel the heat of her perfume and whispered, "Say it again." "Ms. Anderson, that message wasn't." Her eyes locked on his. "I said say it again." No one understood why the coldest executive in the building reacted to a romantic confession like it was meant for her, but the tension crackling between them made the entire floor freeze in place. If this opening pulled you in, like the video and subscribe to Canada's Heartfelt Tales. What happens next will keep you watching. The moment Claire Anderson walked away from Ethan's desk, the office snapped back into motion, but the tension she left behind clung to the air like static. He tried to bury himself in work, but he could feel the stares, the whispers threading through the cubicles. By late morning, Mark Reynolds drifted past with the lazy confidence of someone who enjoyed other people's discomfort. Mark glanced at Ethan, paused, and shook his head with a smirk that invited trouble. "Didn't think you had it in you," Mark murmured. Ethan kept his eyes on his monitor. "Not interested, Mark." But Mark didn't move. "Come on, man. I miss you." To the CEO. "Bold strategy. Maybe that's how you plan to climb the ladder." Ethan stood, his chair scraping the floor. "Drop it." Mark raised both hands in mock surrender, but his grin only grew sharper. "Relax. We'll see how long your little moment lasts." Then he slipped away, planting the seed of a rumor that would sprout faster than wildfire. By lunchtime, Ethan could feel the shift. Conversations stopped when he walked by. 2 analysts near the copy room looked up from their phones with the same expression people used when watching a car skidding toward a wall. He overheard someone mutter, "Pathetic," followed by the soft click of a door closing. He took his sandwich downstairs to avoid the staring. Even alone at a far corner table, the noise of other people's laughter grated against him. The text had been an accident, nothing more, yet somehow the office had turned it into a story worth dissecting. When he returned upstairs, a white sticky note waited on his keyboard. "People like you should know your place." His jaw clenched. He crumpled it and threw it away without a word, but the message burrowed deep. The afternoon dragged. He worked through spreadsheets he'd seen 100 times, but today the lines and numbers blurred like water. Every noise made him flinch, the ping of a new email, a passing voice, the sound of Mark chuckling with his little circle of office loyalists. Around 3, Ethan stepped into the hallway to clear his head. As he leaned against the cool wall, he overheard voices from around the corner. "That guy. Seriously?" One woman whispered. "He's desperate. Thinks he can charm his way up the chain," another voice answered. Mark chimed in, low but smug. "Trust me, he won't last the week." Ethan closed his eyes. His son's face flickered into his mind. Tyler smiling with a missing front tooth, holding a drawing of the 2 of them under a crooked sun. Ethan inhaled slowly. He needed this job. He needed stability. He needed to breathe. That night, when he picked up Tyler, the boy immediately tugged at his sleeve. "Dad, we can make pancakes tonight, right?" Ethan mustered a smile. "Yeah, buddy. Tonight we can." Inside the car, Tyler studied him carefully, the way children do when they sense something wrong. "You look tired," he whispered. "Just a long day," Ethan replied. Tyler nodded, then leaned against him during dinner, as if anchoring him in place. It helped, until his phone buzzed again. Unknown number. "Stay away from her if you know what's good for you." He locked the screen and slipped the phone into his pocket, forcing a laugh at Tyler's silly pancake creation, even as unease crawled beneath his skin. The next morning, Ethan arrived early. The floor was quiet, most lights still dark. He hoped for an hour of peace before the day unraveled, but as he approached his desk, he stopped short. His chair was missing. His drawers were pulled open. Documents lay scattered across the carpet. Someone had rifled through his workspace, not to steal anything but to unsettle him. A few desks away, Mark pretended not to watch. Ethan gathered the papers one by one, trying to steady his breathing. He didn't give Mark the satisfaction of reacting. At 10, a meeting gathered in the main conference room. Ethan sat near the end of the table, keeping to himself. Mark took the seat directly across, smirking like he owned the place. As the team leads reviewed quarterly numbers, Mark raised his hand. "I noticed a discrepancy in Section B of the report," he said. "Looks like someone rushed through it." I shifted toward Ethan. Mark continued, tilting his head innocently. "We all know accuracy matters. Some people just get distracted." A quiet snicker circled the table. Ethan straightened. "If you have a concern, speak to me directly. Don't imply incompetence to score points." Mark's smile didn't budge. "Just doing my job." The moment the meeting ended, Ethan stepped into the hallway, pulse pounding. He didn't notice Claire approaching until her reflection appeared in the glass beside him. She stopped a step away. "Mr. Miller." He swallowed hard. "Yes, Ms. Anderson." Her eyes searched his face, not cold this time but analytical, as if calculating the weight he carried. "Are you managing?" He hesitated. "Working through it." A faint crease formed between her brows. "If someone is interfering with your work, you come to me." He blinked. Why would you help me?" She didn't answer directly. "Because I don't tolerate chaos in my company." Then she walked away, leaving him with a flicker of something unfamiliar. Reassurance. But reassurance wasn't enough to stop what came next. By noon, a rumor spread that Ethan had been invited to Claire's office for a private discussion. Mark's group exaggerated it, twisting it into something inappropriate. By the time Ethan overheard a junior staffer whisper, "He must be using her," he knew the situation had spiraled. That evening, he found a new note taped to his locker near the garage. "Nobody wants you here." He ripped it down and tossed it, but the words stuck. When he arrived home, Tyler waited on the couch with a blanket wrapped around him. "Dad, are you okay?" Ethan's throat tightened. "I will be. Promise." He sat beside him. "Promise." The breaking point came 2 days later. Ethan walked into the office to find Mark leaning against his cubicle. Mark held up Ethan's phone, his phone. "Lost something." Ethan snatched it back. "What are you doing?" "Relax," Mark said. "Just browsing. Didn't know you had such emotional messages in here." Ethan stiffened. "Stay away from my things." Mark stepped close enough that Ethan smelled his cologne. "You messed with the wrong people, Miller. You think you're special because she looked at you. Because she said one sentence to you. You're nothing." Ethan's voice lowered, steady. "Get out of my space." Mark leaned back, smiling. "Or what?" Before Ethan could answer, another voice cut through the tension. "What's going on here?" Claire stood behind them, arms crossed, eyes sharp as glass. Mark straightened instantly. "Just a misunderstanding." Claire stepped past him, addressing Ethan directly. "My office. Now." He followed her in silence. She closed the door and walked to her desk, but her posture wasn't cold this time. It was controlled concern. "Tell me everything," she said. He did. Not dramatically, not emotionally, just the truth. The notes, the meeting, the sabotage, the phone. When he finished, Claire's expression turned to steel. "This ends today." Within an hour, every employee received an email ordering mandatory attendance at a company-wide meeting. The moment the clock struck 2, they gathered in the main hall. Ethan stood at the back, heart hammering. Claire walked to the podium with the presence of someone born to command silence. "There have been behaviors in this company," she said, "that violate the standards we stand for. Not rumors, actions." A murmur moved through the crowd. She continued. Harassment. Intimidation. Sabotage. Mark shifted uneasily in the third row. His friends avoided his eyes. Claire looked directly at him. When an employee targets another, that person will answer for it. Then she lifted a folder. Ethan recognized the documents inside. Screenshots, handwritten notes, security logs. Claire read aloud a message someone had printed and placed on Ethan's desk. Gasps rippled across the room. She held up the sticky note found in Ethan's drawer. Another wave of shock. Finally she said, "Employee Mark Reynolds, step forward." The room turned toward him. Mark froze. "Effective immediately," Claire said. "You are terminated. Your actions undermine the safety and integrity of this workplace. Security will escort you out." Mark sputtered. "You can't, he's lying." Claire cut him off. "The evidence is overwhelming. And the moment you accessed Mr. Miller's phone without permission, you crossed a legal boundary." Two security officers approached. Mark backed away, but there was nowhere to go. As they guided him toward the exit, the office watched, some stunned, some relieved, some quietly satisfied. Even those who never liked Ethan understood justice when they saw it. Mark's voice echoed once more before the doors closed behind him. "This isn't over." But it already was. As the meeting ended, employees dispersed with a new awareness. Some offered Ethan small nods of respect. Others avoided his gaze entirely, ashamed of their own silence. Ethan didn't revel in the moment, but he couldn't deny the weight lifting from his chest. Claire approached him near the doorway. She didn't smile, but her voice softened. "You did nothing wrong." He nodded, overwhelmed. "Thank you. This company owes you better," she said. Then she turned back to the floor, issuing directives with renewed authority. The storm wasn't gone, but for the first time in days, Ethan could breathe. And just when the office thought the chaos was over, a new shift began, one that would change everything. When the building finally settled back into its rhythm, Ethan stepped outside for the first quiet breath he'd taken in days. The cold air touched his face, steady and honest, nothing like the storm he'd just walked through. He wasn't the same man who had stumbled into a whirlwind of whispers and doubt. Something in him had sharpened, not in anger but in clarity. That evening, Tyler ran to him with a drawing. Two figures standing tall beneath a sky filled with wide strokes of color. "This one's you," Tyler said, pointing to the larger shape. "You look stronger today." Ethan held the page for a long moment. For all the chaos, this was what mattered. Showing up, standing firm, refusing to be defined by lies or fear. Inside the office, people would talk for a while, but talk couldn't undo the truth. And truth, once spoken aloud, had a way of staying in the room long after the noise faded. As Ethan switched off the lights and guided his son to the car, the last glow of sunset caught on the glass tower behind them. A quiet reminder that some battles end not with victory chance, but with the simple knowledge that you didn't break. If this story moved you, remember to like the video, share it with someone who needs it, and subscribe to Canada's Heartfelt Tales to support more stories just like this.